Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon on this sunny Friday. Welcome to another CiviPlus 101 session. This time we'll be focusing on unlocking your membership association's digital potential. Really great to have everyone with us today. And we'll just start off with a couple of introductions. So my name is Louise and I'm the Chief Growth Officer at CiviPlus. So I'm working with all of our potential clients and our existing clients to really understand your needs and make sure that we can provide the right digital solutions for you. I'm going to hand over to Jack.
Thanks, Louise. Hi, everyone. I'm Jack McIndoe, the account manager at CompuCo, and I'm responsible for working with all the charities, not-for-profits, membership organisations that we work with, from literally our first point of contact with Louise through to project end. And then being as a point of contact to liaise internally to get the relevant people involved at the right time. And I'll hand over to Alex.
And I'm Alex, I'm Senior Marketing Manager here. And yeah, I do a lot of the things here, like organising the webinars, organising the events. There's been a few of those recently. I think we're at another one next week. And yeah, just help out and generate lots of educational stuff about all the kind of fantastic things that charities and memberships organisations can do on the digital world.
Great, so thank you. Here's a little sneak peek at our agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about the areas where digital potential can lie, and then talk you through CiviPlus and how you can really unlock that potential with CiviPlus. And if there are any questions as we go along, please feel free to put them in the chat. But otherwise, we will have some time at the end, hopefully, for any questions and chat at the end. So before we get started, we always like to start off by doing a poll. Just to get a feel for who's with us today. So we're just going to ask a couple of questions. It'd be really great if everyone could just fill these in. What kind of database or CRM do you currently use, if any? And the second question is, do you feel like you're currently giving your members a personalized digital experience? So if everyone could just take a minute to fill that in, and then Alex will let me know when to close the poll.
Yeah. Just waiting for, yeah, maybe give some people a little bit more chance. Yeah, I think more or less everyone's had the chance to answer at this point. So I'll share the results.
Great. Well, we've got 100% Civi CRM and CiviPlus users here today. So that's great. And in terms of if people feel like they are happy with the amount of personalization they're doing, you do some but could do more. Okay, that's also 100%. Okay, great. So great. So hopefully we'll give you some tips and tricks today at how to get the most out of your Civi or CiviPlus system. Right, so let's just start off with Alex, who's going to talk about discovering your digital potential.
Yeah, so what exactly is this digital potential that we can get hold of using our, systems? So we're splitting this into kind of like two different areas, if you like. We're going to start first talk about, well, what exactly can your team achieve when they're using digital tools that maybe you're doing a bit of right now, but what more could, you be getting back from the systems? One of the things that we like talking about a lot, and certainly within CRM systems, is a single source of truth for data, which for those of you who haven't come across that before, basically means having a single place where all of your data, like a master copy of your data, lives. So instead of having, different spreadsheets which have different out of sync versions of your data, having one copy of all of your data, like in one master location, could be really, really powerful. You know that that's always going to be the right set of data. And, when you're dealing with larger contact databases, that is super important, knowing that this is where it all lives. And if it's on a spreadsheet and it doesn't look right, you can then cross-reference against here and it's correct. Another great digital opportunity you can get for your team by having a really powerful digital tool set is that you can eliminate manual data entry. None of us enjoy it. It takes a long time. And, also when you kind of do manual data entry, the chance of you making a mistake is incredibly high. In fact, we've mentioned it in some of our other webinars, but if you're making a really complex spreadsheet, some research done by a university like several years back made it kind of clear that there was like a 100% chance if you're going to do a really large complex web spreadsheet, at some point you'll make a mistake. Can also centralize your digital tools. Now, in the modern day, lots of different tool sets that you probably use. You might have one for mailing, you might have one for events, but if you can kind of put them all into one place so they all talk to each other or they're just in one place, it's a lot easier for you rather than having to remember so many different sets of passwords and, making sure that all the data speaks to each other correctly. Can also easily, bring down costs and stuff. So it's really good if you can do all of this for your team and make it just their lives easier, keeping track of all the different things that you need in order to succeed. Great one that we love talking about is saving your staff and your team time on manual tasks. So we've talked a bit about manual data entry, which is one of them, but there's so many other things that take a lot of time, all the things like managing processes, sending out lots of individual emails. These are the sorts of things that are really good if that we can, eliminate using some kind of better digital management system. We will, want to take advantage of. Another great thing that you can get from a digital toolset is that you can process payments online. So instead of having to do that, in a very manual way, you can just kind of get the whole system online to do it for you. If you have a payment processor, and then if you have a record in your database, it can automatically, if you've got the right toolset, kind of like in Civi, it can just go, yep, we're going to record it against this record. Fantastic. It's all there. You don't have to do any manual intervention. Again, saving you time. Another great thing, digital backups. Obviously, this one's quite self-explanatory, but if you have all the digital backups, if something, God forbid, does go wrong, then if you have a digital tool set, then it kind of just takes care of that and, you can restore. Always very, very useful just to have around. But, that's what we can do, you can do internally for your team. What kind of digital opportunities are there for your members, which is something, obviously we're talking about membership today. What can we do for them and making their lives better, making our offer more exciting for them? Well, we've talked about payments a bit, but in their perspective, that they can make their payments quicker and, all around the clock. They're not waiting for anyone on your end to kind of be there to process the payment. They can just go in, they can put their credit card details in or whatever they're doing, and then it'll just process it automatically. And, that makes their lives much easier and they're much more, willing to do that. They can do it any time of the day because, as we know, they might be on a different timetable to you, Maybe they want to do all their membership payment stuff in the evening rather than during the day when it'd be more convenient for you if you were manually processing it. Louise mentioned this a bit earlier, but one thing that we think is massively important, and obviously you saw it in the poll, was that you can enable more personalized content by having like the right digital tool set. So really personalizing what content your members can interact with and engage with, having a really robust way to curate that and make sure that they receive a kind of tailored journey of what they're seeing rather than just kind of putting everything out there and hoping they see the content that you think is going to really appeal to them. You can really get to know them and kind of funnel them down into seeing things that are going to engage with them and make sure, that they are getting the right experience for whatever it is they're signed up for. Beyond personalized content, there's also tailored interactions. So by this, we mean we've all had interactions with different organizations, different companies where we feel like the company and organization just don't know us. We might have been with them for like 5 years, 10 years, but you ring them up and they don't really know who you are. If you have a really good contact management database, then you can kind of get in touch with the organization. They'll have all the all your details like in one place, kind of 360-degree view. And they'll know, oh, you went to this event, you went to this mailing, and these things can make a massive difference. If you do interact with them, like at an event or something, or wherever it is you're interacting with them, knowing their history with you can really make them feel valued and make them feel like, they are having that one-on-one experience. Another thing that you can do for your members is you can make application processes easier. So application processes, this can be for membership, it can be for grants and awards, lots of different things you can apply for, of course, within the membership world. But making these easier than, with a nice simple web form, then lots of different, and in fact, this is something that we'll be talking about in our next webinar, but there's lots of different ways that lots of membership organizations do this. Some stick to kind of like documents that you have to download manually, which can take a lot of time, difficult for your team to process sometimes, but also more time consuming for your members or prospective members. So making that simpler is a great digital opportunity. Of course, this is one that's kind of an opportunity for you as well as your members, but making sure that their data is more secure is always fantastic. It is an opportunity for you as well, of course, with GDPR and all the exciting fun that brings. It means that you're avoiding the risk of any fines that come alongside that, but also just from your members' perspective, knowing that you have their data really secure in a digital tool that really is designed for it, makes them feel a lot happier. Another thing you can do is simple event booking. So like making event booking much simpler, making it much more coordinated across things. So they can book their events, and if you have a kind of coordinated event management system, and then it can automate all of the things out to them, as we'll be talking about a bit later. But putting it all in one place is fantastic for your members. And one thing that we also want to talk about, and we'll be talking about a bit later, is that members can self-serve if you have a self-service portal, of course. And I'm sure Jack will be talking a bit more about that later. But one of the things that members want to be doing is, and you want to be doing as well, is kind of saving time and just kind of interacting with your organization whenever they want, and doing it in a, again, at the kind of the time that they feel that they want to. And, for little things like updating their details, these things can be massive time sinks for you if you have to kind of update all their details whenever they email you. And it can make such a difference to members in terms of how engaged they are if they can go in and do all these things themselves. So those are the kind of digital opportunities that we think are really out there, and that maybe there's some of them that you think you can improve on a little bit, or that you'd be interested in doing more with. So with that being said, I think I'll pass over to Louise now, who's going to be talking a little bit about CiviPlus. And some of you, might be familiar with this, but some of you might not. So
thank you, Alex. So CiviPlus is our dedicated non-profit all-in-one platform. It is based on CiviCRM, and it is basically a SaaS version of CiviCRM for those of you out there who are already using CiviCRM. For those of you who are not familiar with CiviCRM, all you need to know is that CiviPlus is powerful, easy to use, cost-effective, and really designed for the non-profit sector, for membership associations, charities, and any non-profit of any kind, to be able to basically lay the digital foundations they need to do everything they want now and in the future. So we're just going to do a quick overview of what CiviPlus can do. So of course it can manage contacts, and it really understands how in a non-profit, the different kinds of relationship that you may need to have between different individuals on your database. And one person may have several relationships and be interconnected across lots of different activities and areas within your organization. So it's really important that CiviPlus can understand that well and manage that well. Of course, we take payments online, any kind of payment, event, membership fees, donations. We track fundraising opportunities if you're a fundraising organization, managing memberships, of course, otherwise, this is the title of this webinar, is focusing on that. So really built to manage complex membership structures and have great automation processes in place around renewals, which is really, really helpful. There's a whole comprehensive events module that is built in, so you can run any kind of free or paid event, and also run CPD tracking courses, and also manage your conference in terms of all the booking and delegate information, all in one place. And the same goes for our drag and drop email builder. No need to use any external mailing systems. I know even some people within the Civi world may not be using the inbuilt drag and drop builder that can be used in CiviPlus. So then you can send out beautifully looking communications straight from one system. There's a case management functionality if you're managing any case workload. Task dashboards, which is always my favorite. Not only can you assign tasks for yourself to remember, you can assign tasks to other members of staff if they're something that you need them to do following an interaction you've had with somebody. And you can also set up auto tasks to be created when certain things happen. So let's say a member application comes into the system, auto tasks can be created, assigning things for you to do that you need to do to move them forward through that process. Reporting and analytics, there are over 100 reporting templates built into CiviPlus, and you can create and build your own. Surveys and petitions, we always encourage organizations to send out surveys and ask the people what they want. Basically, ask your members, your supporters, what is interesting to them, what do they want to see more of. That all feeds back into the system, and then you can use that to analyze and gain insights and help drive your strategy going forward. Managing volunteers, which is really useful if you have volunteers in place. Tracking applicants for any kind of application. So maybe it's volunteer application, maybe it's grant application, because you'll see the next bit is grant management. So there's an end-to-end grant management application process. We've got this great certificate generator, which is actually a fairly new feature, which can be really good for membership certificates, if anyone's completed any training or volunteering, or maybe they've run a marathon for you. And then, of course, the very special self-service portal, which we'll be telling you more about, which Alex has already touched upon, but which we think is a really important extra feature that you can give, or an experience that you can give to your members, so they feel really connected to your organization and they feel empowered to be in control of their relationship to your organization and manage their details themselves. So with that introduction, we are going to move forward and talk a little bit more about how to unlock that potential using all these different features in CiviPlus. Now, we're not going to have time to go through all of those today, but we just picked out a few of the key ones where Alex and I will talk you through a bit about the key features, and then Jack is going to do a demo to show you how it works in the system. So to start us off with contact management, key features. So of course, we're having a 360-degree contact view, which means all the information is in one place for your contacts. And Jack will show you how you can see that flash view, but we've got a little sneak preview here that Daniela's got her record, and down the side, we can see every area of the system that she's connected to, but Jack will show you more about that later. You can have different contact types. So you could have, if people are individuals, if they're organizations, if they're partners, whatever your contact types are for your organization, you can define those. As I mentioned before, manage and create multiple relationships. I know, I didn't say this before, actually, I used to be a fundraiser for charities. So I know I would have somebody who could be a donor, a committee member, a trustee, a volunteer, and they, I need to track all of those relationships. All activities are logged, which is really important. So everyone in the system, there might be multiple people working with one person. And that way, if everything is logged, you can see everything that is going on. So that's that 360-degree view. You can set up different permissions for different users within the system. So if you do have some confidential information, then maybe you don't want everyone on your staff team to access, you can set up different permissions and views within the system, which is really useful. GDPR ready, so members and donors can fill in their preferences. And you have this great ability to create custom fields, which you can then search and report on, and you can create any field that relates to your organization and information that you want to capture. So I'm going to hand over to Jack. I think we're going to do a very smooth, swift screen share change. It's going to be so quick, you're not even going to notice it's happening.
Oh.
Has it happened yet?
Alex, do you want to give me some ability?
All right. So smooth, guys. No one's noticing that there's a screen share switch going on.
Alex?
Alex needs to give Jack permission to share his screen.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's totally fine. Like, we never a dull moment in presenting live webinars. Okay, here we go. Over to you, Jack.
Cool, brilliant, thank you. So yeah, just touching on what Louise said, within CiviPlus, you've got 360 contact management. So that could be members, partners, or just individuals or organizations that you're engaging with. So here we've got an individual, which is Tony Stark, and you can see his contact type here on the summary page. Along the left-hand side, you've also got other bits of key information that are relevant to Tony, and this could be an organization, so like his membership, contributions, and on the summary page, you've got all the critical information that you'd expect to see, tags, email addresses, and phone numbers that you can edit and change, set which one's used for their primary communication, so membership updates, and which one is used for their newsletters, for example. It's really simple and easy to change all these around. If you're dealing with organizations, you can capture their website. If it's an individual, you can store their LinkedIn, and you can also store and capture numerous addresses for individuals or organizations as well. What's really useful here, especially for membership organizations, is like the date of birth. So if you want to make your members feel like a valued member, you can send them a happy birthday because you've got all the relevant information stored within the CRM. And of course, like I'll show you later, you've got a really nice looking built-in mailing tool, which you can use as well. There's also the GDPR ready settings. So you've got privacy and preferred communication methods. So you can just let the system know the member's preferred style of communication. And then when you go to communicate the next time, you can just reach out. And then along the bottom, we've just added 2 custom fields here that you as a user will have the ability to add. So you can store and capture as much information, weird and wacky information on the members as you wish. Just jumping up to the top, you can see Tony's former employer is the Avengers. And if I jump onto the left-hand side, that's a relationship. So a relationship within CiviPlus is linking 1 or 2 contact records together, whether that be an organization, an individual, or maybe an individual and their spouse, for example. You can store and capture those, and they're really easy to edit and add as well. So you can add as many different relationship types as you wish. And to add them, you just click the big blue add relationship button there. Also, there's inactive relationship. So what that is if someone within your sphere of influence, for example, like a member or individual, are with a particular group or organization for a certain amount of time, you can add an end date. It will hit that and move it into inactive, and you can build up a real rich history of all the members that you're engaging with, which is obviously really useful. Then just jumping onto the left-hand side, you've got the activities tab. So this just shows you all the inbound and outbound activities that you've done with this particular individual or member. So event registrations, contributions. These are outbound, so member meetings and phone calls that you've had, and you can store and capture all the information. But you've also got inbound activities. So for example, donations, membership dues, event registration, using the built-in web forms, and you can filter and add new activities really easily as well. Then onto the events tab, you've got a chronological list view. We've only got one for this purpose, but you would see all the events that this member's attended, what their role was. If you wanted to manually add an event registration, you could, but of course we've got built-in web forms for members to sign up to all these events as well. And then a similar thing for the contributions tab. So you'd see all of the payments that the members made to you, whether that's recurring membership dues, one-off donations, or maybe like a fixed membership fee at the beginning of the year or in April, for example, as well. And then I will come back to the slide deck and close this down, if it lets me. It doesn't want to let me.
Thanks,
Cool.
Thanks, Jack.
No problem.
And yeah, mailing. So as you'd expect, I'm a big fan of a really good mailing tool, being in marketing. And I think one of the best things that you can see with CiviPlus, and you can also get it within Civi itself, but there is a drag and drop email builder that you can use. And that is kind of like a game changer, instead of just having to do your manual emails, which just, look like a standard email, you can make a really, really beautiful email very easily with this drag and drop mail builder. And you can even set up your own templates with it, and take advantage of the inbuilt image library to drop all of the kind of images that you might have, and you might use a lot, logo, for instance, is quite a common one. But really where the power of this all comes from, as well as the beautiful emails you can send out, it's that way that you can easily segment your contacts. And whenever we start talking about segmentation, it often becomes quite a long conversation, but we think segmentation is exceedingly important when you're doing your mailing, because that's how you get your personalization, how you really kind of make your audience know that you understand their specific needs. You might segment by your your gold members, your silver members, or whatever different tiers of membership you're doing, or possibly by geography, or if you're doing events or something, or however else you're doing it. And the fantastic thing about this is that you can also have these lists that segment your members done dynamically. So you can tell Civi, I want to kind of base this list based on, the geography, the membership type, and it will do it for you. It will add members as they're appropriately, segmented under that. If, say, they change their membership type, then it will also kind of remove them and put them on another list. So instead of having this kind of static list, you're having to update very manually, it'll do it all for you and make sure you're always emailing the right people, which saves an inordinate amount of time. Of course, as well as all of these kind of mailing tools, we have all the fantastic mailing reports you can run off it, and you can get so much information. The sort of information you can get in mailing, you can see, who has opened which specific thing on your email, who's clicked on it, what time they've clicked on it. You can see an awful lot of information and run this all off and really see kind of engagement metrics on your email. And one thing that we really love to talk about here, and what's the real power of having an inbuilt mail builder, you know, as opposed to kind of an external one? Well, it's that all of your data is in one place. Any of us who've dealt with mailing before on an external tool know the fun that CSVs, uploading them and kind of making sure the data is aligned can bring. But if you have it within the system, it just kind of directly links to your contacts. You know, you don't have to worry about integrations being a bit ropey or anything. It's just there. You go into your contacts, you can see all the mailings that you've sent out to them. You can see all the history there, and it's just automatically pulled through, you know, as we've said, from these lists. And it just makes the whole thing so much easier from a data management point of view, and really make sure that you can just focus on mailing your contacts exactly as you'd like. So yeah, and now I'll pass over to Jack, who's going to show you a little bit of this mail builder.
Brilliant, thank you. Bear with me 2 seconds. Brilliant. So just leaning on from Alex's point about segmentation, before we get into actually showing you the mailing tool, this is where you can build out all of the personalized groups for your members. So this could be based on membership type, it could be on their interest, however you want to segment your data, you can do as well. So there's a few examples here. We've got volunteers, monthly members, and you can see that these are mailing lists as well. So you can set up certain permissions for people to have access to that. And the beauty of this is you can do it all from templates. So if you want to create a number of different templates based on information, topics, and interest, you can pre-create those and just make little tweaks to them on your next mailing run as well. So for the purpose of this, we've got the Women in Tech invitation. We click continue. That takes us through to the actual mailing tool. So you'd see along the top, you'll have the 3-step process that it will take you through. So step 1 is giving the mailing a name. That's for like reporting purposes. You can decide who it comes from as well. So it could be like marketing@compuco or civiplus.co.uk, for example. And here is where you actually add all of your different marketing segments. So you can include and exclude particular groups depending on who you want to target for this campaign. Here's where you can add a subject line, and you can also add personalization and like mail merge fields to that. And a feature that's recently been added is this little plus button. It enables you to do split testing. So if you wanted to do 50% got one subject line, 50% got another, just test different open rates as well. And then just continuing on from the point about templates, here is where you would store all of your different templates for different members and topics as well. So you can pre-create and save those. But for the purposes, I'll show you one that we've made already and just edit that. So along the top, you've got unsubscribe. So the beauty of having this built in is if someone unsubscribes from this particular marketing segment, it will remove them from this particular group. So you don't have to jump between different systems. It's all integrated and built in. It saves you a lot of time having to mess around with spreadsheets. Here is the drag and drop builder. So you can drag and drop different blocks in. You can really customize it and make this your own. So you can add different images. You can change all of your fonts. You can add different buttons as well, which can link out to like event registration forms, can link out to membership sign-up forms. You can change all your colors. And if we were to ever work together as any organization, we would bring in all of their colors and fonts as well, which is great. Just jumping along to the stock image gallery as well. So along the top, you can see a gallery. This is where you can store all of your logos, images from events, membership pictures and stuff like that. And you can just drag and drop that into the mailing as well, which is really neat. You can either send yourself a test just to see what it looks like in your inbox. You can send a group of people a test within your organization just to get a bit of feedback. And then you can either send it immediately or you can schedule it to go out at a later date. And then, like Alex mentioned, the beauty of this is you've got all your mailing reports built in. So there's a few preset reports here. You've got bounces, unsubscribes, click-throughs, for example, but you can actually build out your own reports as well, which is really handy. And then I will close this and jump back to the slides and hand over to Alex again.
Yes. So next up, we have got some talk about events. So another thing that I handle quite a lot, events here at CiviPlus. So fantastic things that you can do within CiviPlus for events is that it has a whole inbuilt events management system. You don't need to go like externally to another platform to do it. You can create, events of any size, any type, physical, digital, whatever you're looking for, do even, hybrid, whatever you want. And you can do it free and paid as well. So you can set up a simple free event, but you can also have paid with lots of different price sets, and, you know, make it quite complicated if you want to kind of have different membership options. You know, maybe you have like a VIP event ticket or however you want to set that up. Of course, within all of this, you obviously have the online registration and payment. So that takes care of all that for you. And signing up to this event, you'll have seen the online registration screen there. Another great thing that you can get is that you can have automated emails to participants. And I think this is one really, really powerful tool, because one of the biggest things about events, you know, as well as managing all of it, is the comms around events and making sure that they're all sent out at appropriate times. And the fact is that you can use Civi to kind of schedule things in advance. So I can say, like, 1 day before an event, you know, 1 week before an event, or whatever it is, this will go out, which means that I can coordinate it ahead of time. And, you know, I can set a specific time it goes out at. And that way it's, you know, I've got all these things. I can use templates for these communications. Say if I run the same event again and again, I can just make it very simple for myself, and also make sure everyone gets the kind of the right communication at the right time. You can as well, of course, add the tokens that Jack's already added, mentioned briefly before. So, you know, you can put someone's first name at the beginning of it. You can put the event title. You don't need to write these things out yourself. You can make it so much simpler for yourself. And yeah, you said templates for the communications, but you can do events, templates for the events themselves. So if you have events that you repeat a lot, so let's say, for instance, training sessions, you can or, you know, you can coordinate kind of like, well, what does the base template look like? Maybe some specific instructions you want in it every time. And then you can just generate a new copy of it, you know, and change specific dates, just making it a lot easier for yourself if you're going to have to kind of create multiple entries of the same thing again and again. Obviously, beyond that, you can track who's registered and attended. Super important. You know, you can give people different statuses, and you can run reports and all of that, and do all sorts of fantastic things with lists, with a mailer builder or whatever you want to do. Another nice little feature we've got in here is that you can have member-only events. Now, this is as simple as a little tick box, but say you only want to see a specific type of member to see an event. Maybe only your gold members can, you want only your gold members to kind of go to a certain type of event. You know, this is a specific event just for them. Well, you can enable it so that only they can sign up for the event. And so that's just a nice little feature, because some of the membership organizations we deal with kind of like want to make them a bit more exclusive sometimes. Another great thing that you can do is that you can make all the data from this event is just directly integrated again into your contact record. So again, it's not got to kind of have some integration between it. It's just automatic. It will say on the contract record, this person has signed up for this event, this person has registered, you know, attended this event, and you can see all of the past history from the event, and it's all there automatically. You don't need to do anything. The system's just taking care of it by default. So fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll pass it to Jack now, who's going to show you a little bit of what this looks like.
Cool. So as you can probably see along the top, I'm editing an event template. So the beauty of having the event module built into Civi is you can actually store and create templates. So very similar to the mailing aspect, everything can be templated. So when you go to set up an event at a later date, if you do run regular member events or CPD or training events, for example, you can do it in a few clicks. So I'm going to show you how you set one up from scratch. And then at the end, I'll just talk a little bit more about scheduled reminders and stuff like that. So step one is the info and settings. You give the template a title. That's just so you can report on it and manage the event after you've released it. You can decide the event type. So whether you do run a conference, fundraising, member-only event, for example, you can decide what the default role is. The participant listing, so that's for your own management perspective. So you want to see the name only on the event registration. And here's where you give it all a title, a summary, and the complete description as well. You can also specify max number of participants with an event. So if it does hit that cap, you can also activate a wait list. So there's a really nice bit of automation that kicks off here where it's on a first come, first served basis. And if the event becomes full and they sign up for the wait list, they will receive an email when a space becomes available with the registration form that you've created, and then they can fill that in and reserve their space as well, which is great. And because we have integrated a really lovely members portal, which I'll show you later, you can actually just click a little button here and it will pull this event listing public facing within that members portal, which is really easy as well. You don't have to copy and paste the URL and put it into a button on your website. Then you go through to step two, which is the event location. So if you do use the same location for events, you can just use a template, but obviously you would fill it in from scratch here. So fill in all these, then go through to step three, which is the event fees. So you can do paid and free events within CiviPlus. So you can just tick whether you want to do yes or no. You can decide the currency. You can decide if you wanted to use our Stripe integrated payment processor, or a direct debit, or an online offline recurring donation, a contribution, for example. You can enable pay later. So this is really useful for if you're a membership organization that has organization as members, and their individuals want to get a invoice off you after the event to take to their employer to pay for the event as well. So that's really handy as well. Going down a little bit, you've got all of the fee labels and tickets that you can create. So you can set up as many tickets as you wish to, different pricing, different discounts as well. You can decide which ones are default when they go to sign up. And then along the bottom, you've got early bird discounts, which is great just to encourage people to sign up a little bit quicker because they get 10, 20% off, for example. Then now through to the crucial bit. So this is the online registration page. This is where you build and tailor all of your event registration forms. So you can personalize these yourself to capture all the information you want on a particular member. So for example, dietary requirements is always one. Accessibility is really useful if you're doing in-person events. And to build that out, you can either use templates along the bottom here, or you can create one from scratch. So you can actually store templates if you do run regular events that are very similar and you want to capture the same information, or you can just edit one, or you can create one from scratch. So there's just a really basic example here, and we'll preview that. So first name, last name. And then if you do set up a dietary requirements one, you can just click that and it'll appear with all the stuff that you want it to do. Then you go through to the confirmation screen, the thank you screen, and a good bit of automation here. You can set up an automated email to go out. So I know if I buy something or sign up for an event, I want an email to confirm that. You can schedule that and it will come out from whichever email you specify as well. Then through to scheduled reminders. So this is crucial for any event, in my opinion. So you can set up as many scheduled reminders as you wish, and you can specify when these go out to your members as well. And the beauty of this is because you've got all different membership types, different individuals within the system, you can specify who it goes out to. So what a event listing they have, whether they're registered or whether they're a speaker or a volunteer, you can personalize this to those people. And touching on what Alex said about those tokens, you can add these tokens into your mail communication to make these mail pieces personalized to each individual, which is great as well. And I will just jump back and hand over to Louise for that one.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the membership management within CiviPlus. So as we talked about before, membership contact types, you can have individual, organizational contact types, but you can also have individual or organizational membership. And it's really great that CiviPlus can handle organizational membership. So your organization is the member, and then we can also see all the people linked to that organization who will also then have a membership. Free and paid memberships are available to set up. Fixed or rolling periods as well, depending on how your organization works and manages their memberships. And if you have rolling memberships, we can fixed memberships, we can also offer pro-rated membership sign up. You can manage multiple membership types. So you can handle, as many different membership types with all different sorts of paths and benefits and automated emails going out depending on what the membership type is. The automated renewal emails can be set up to go out. You can create and generate invoices within the system that will automatically go out. There's a self-service online sign up and renewal, which will show you more in the portal, but that can also be done via a web form and sent out through that email link. There's an option to set up a direct debit. And
I'm really sorry, Louise, to jump in.
Yeah.
If you've got, say, I don't know, 20 people, 40 people to automatically send an email to, can you turn them off? Or if you don't want, for example, your best friend to get it, can you do that?
Well, yes, you should be able to either individually disable that, or you could put those people into a certain group and then have that whole group be excluded from the automatic email.
Yeah, so that's what we've come across. sorry if anyone's to be
That's okay.
boring. We have to make groups and then exclude groups from that group to get the people we want. I'll put it that way.
So I mean, we can talk that through with you in a bit more detail maybe at the end, but yes, it is possible to do. So it's just about working out what way makes the most sense for your organization, depending on how you're defining.
You can work around it, but there are things you got to work around. And that's the problem.
Well, I mean, yes, because it's, you know, if you want to set up automatic renewal reminders for everyone with a certain membership type, if you then don't want everyone to get that, then you do need to say, you know, don't do these guys. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely. Yeah,
got it. Thank you. And sorry for a lack of camera. We're at the office. There's no cameras.
That's okay. Can I ask where you're from, what organization? And
the RTS, and I've just been speaking to Jack, in fact. So it's fine.
Okay, brilliant.
And we'll see you next week at CiviCamp.
Oh, lovely. Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. Well, so yes, to be continued. And I think I will. Oh, I was just saying you can personalize your content by membership type. So again, if you've got different members,
Jim and LinkedIn is the best. It's the best picture. anything else is rubbish.
Okay. All right. So
but right. Alex knows me, so it's fine.
I'm gonna hand over to Jack to take us through the membership management. And we'll continue with you later, Lewis.
Thank you.
Cool. Right. So what I'll start with is there's two variations that I'm going to show you today. So there's individual membership, or there is organizational membership. So an individual gets that by association. So just going into this organizational contact record, so the Cruise Brews Tea Company, you can see along the left-hand side that they have a membership with you and also 5 relationships. So if we just jump in to the relationships tab, you can see that within the tea company, there are 5 members of staff. So what we'd like to have is, because we've got an organizational membership, all of these 5 staff would have a membership with you by association. So if we jump up to the membership tab, you will see the membership that the tea company holds is a gold membership. When their membership started, end date, and if we do have auto renew set up in place. And you can also see that we have 5 created related memberships, and that is to reflect all of the relationships against their contact record. So if we went into Veronica's contact record, which is an individual contact record, and went into her membership, we would hopefully see that she has a gold membership by association, by relationship. So she has the same start and end date. Her auto renew is in place because she is related to that particular organization. So that's the first type of membership. Just to show you the second one, we've got a individual contact record, which is John Redman. So like Louise touched on earlier, there's a few different memberships that we can set up. There's fixed, roll-in, there's prorated calculations built in. And the power and beauty of this is, because we've got really powerful built-in web forms, everything I'm going to show you is me doing it manually, but this can all be automated using an online sign-up form, either via your website or via the self-service members portal, which I'll show you in a little bit. So we've just set up John with a bronze membership. We give it a start and end date. We want to record a membership payment against his record. We would decide the contribution, so how he's going to make that direct debit back, standing order, for example, and the payment status is pending. We're going to manually create a mandate, but of course, this can be all filled in via the member via a sign-up form. We would give it a date. We would send an auto confirmation receipt to the individual, and we would opt in for auto renew if you wanted to do that. But of course, you can do that manually if you want to as well. So now John has a bronze membership with us. It's been a member since 5th of April, and it's set up the payment schedule because we want John to pay monthly for his annual membership. We can see here that the system's worked out the amount of payment that needs to be taken every month, and all of those payments are pending. You can check your finance system and reconcile that with CiviPlus as well. Also, the beauty of this is we can create invoices straight from Civi. So we'd add your logos and all the information for your payment accounts, and the member can make the payment directly to you, and then you can check off the membership via the system, but we've also got a really powerful integration with Go Cardless for direct debits, which will actually take the payment off the member, and then it will check off the payment in the system automatically, so you don't have to reconcile with your finance accounts as well. So that's really handy, and that's just being tested as we speak. Then if we just jump across, this is really useful as well. So if you wanted to amend a membership mid membership, for example, you want to promote them to the next tier, or you want to bolt on like a donation, for example, you can also modify these. So you can see the forecasted period and the current period, and you can add an additional membership. So this is me upgrading John to the next membership tier. But like I mentioned, you can also bolt on like a donation or a booklet, for example, if that's something that you do within your organization. And the power of this is because it's all integrated, you've got all your membership reports, you can forecast, you can manage all your membership dashboards, you can do like pie charts, bar charts, and all that sort of good stuff that you'd want within membership reporting. And what I will do now is come back to Louise to discuss the membership portal before I dive into some of the key features on the video.
Yeah, so really excited to talk to you about our self-service portal. So this comes only with CiviPlus. And within the portal, there's so much going on. I'll give you a quick overview now, and then Jack will show you what it looks like. So members can update their own details, and you can choose what details you want them to update. There's an area for announcements and news, and you can decide that's where you can personalize the content depending on their membership type. You can show different kinds of announcements and news to them. There's an event booking area where, again, if you're having members only events, that will show up only in that event member event booking area. And you can even define that by which, if you've got a certain type of membership, it will only show up if you've got the right type of membership. So really great personalization and really great functionality there. You have the ability to access and download the invoices there. So although you can email them out, it's really nice to have them all in one place and all together, which can be really useful for people that maybe need to show claims to their employers or for VAT purposes. There's a committee space if you're running committees, an applications area, and an applications review area for external reviewers. And I'm going to leave that for Jack to show you, because it's just easier to show you than it is to explain it.
Brilliant, cheers. So yeah, a few videos I want to show you. There's a branded portal video, there'll be an unbranded one, and there's also a few new features that we've just added that hopefully I'll have time to show you. So imagine I'm a member, I'm on your website, and I've just clicked in a button on your website saying log into members portal or go to members portal, for example. So all the clients that we work with, we would rebrand this portal to match all your logos, colors, and fonts and stuff like that. So this is recognized that it's Jane Doe that's logged in, so it's personalized to each individual member. She could update her password if she wanted to, and you can also see a bit of a gamified profile completion bar on this summary page. So this is just letting the member know that out of 100% of the information you want to collect on them, they've only done like 30 or 40%, for example. And here Jane can update all of her information. Really useful for if they move home or if they get married, or if they just change some information. Also, along the bottom of this form is a members directory opt-in. So on the other video that I'll show you in a moment, there's a members directory that has like a profile picture, a bit of information about them. It's really good for humanizing a membership organization and making members connect with one another as well. And then you've got the communication preferences along the bottom for people to opt into different interest groups or mailing lists as well. So they click save, and because this is integrated with CiviPlus, it would pull all that information straight through to their contact record that I showed you earlier on. Also within the summary page, you've got an announcements tab. So if you do like grants or awards, or if you have a new renewal period starting, whatever that may be, you can run the announcement through here, and then they can actually apply to that using the CiviPlus application and case module as well, which is really powerful. Along the bottom, you've just got a quick flash of like news updates. So you can do members only news in here. You have full content control, so you can build out blog posts. So if you clicked into the Duke of Edinburgh, for example, it would take me to the new blog page. And again, you can add all the images and relevant text that you want to add here. And then you've also got events as well. So like I showed you earlier, if you set up an event using CiviPlus, click a button, it will pull that event public into the members portal for you as well, which is really good. Then if you want to go granular into each individual area, we've got the news tab with some nice filtering along the top so they can search for members' relevant information. And this would have all of the blog posts and stuff that you want to post. The same for events. So you've got the same filtering along the top, and members can actually book on to certain member-only events. The really powerful thing about this as well, because it's integrated, it will recognize which membership type that they hold, and it will personalize the experience depending on who they are, and also for events. So Alex touched on this earlier. If they hold a certain membership gold tier, for example, those individuals would be the only people that can sign up for this event as well. And if there was a wait list activated, they could opt into the wait list here as well. Then onto the invoices tab. So really, really crucial for both membership and fundraising organizations. This is where members can log in and see if they have any outstanding payments that need to be made to you, or they can check all the invoices that they've made. So let's say they've been a member for 5 years, they can look at their last 5 years history of invoices with you. This one's due, so they can actually make the payment using Stripe, or they can download the invoice to take to their employer to pay, or just check what they've paid with you, for example, moving forward. These invoices would be personalized with each individual's organization logos, and then onto the committees area. So like Louise said, if you do have committees or groups, for example, this will show a member which group they're a part of, and the committee lead or the group manager, for example, can assign meetings within here, documentation that they can read, so there can be text or PDF. So really good for like meeting minutes and stuff like that. And they can also see and filter different documents as well if they wish to. And then on the last tab, they've just got a little tab to show all of the different members or individuals or members that are part of this particular committee and group as well. And then along the bottom, I won't be able to get into this too much today, unfortunately, but we can always pick up offline on a different call if needed. There's a really powerful applications area that's built in to CiviPlus, so you can manage any of your application workflows and processes using CiviPlus, whether that be volunteer management, membership management, major donor pipeline, for example. And then just to quickly show you an unbranded version of our portal. So I can show you both the members directory and the certificates area. So we have this certificates area where members can log in and see all of their certificates, whether that be membership certificates, event certificates, volunteer certificates, whatever that may be. And you as the organization will have full content control and make these certificates look a lot prettier than that one there. And lastly, but not least, you've got the members directory, which I mentioned at the beginning. So people can opt into that, add a profile picture, add their name, add their phone number, email address, and a bit of a bio about themselves. And then members can click in and see all the relevant information that they want. So it's really good for networking. And again, like I said, humanizing the organization. And the final point that I'll make before handing back to Louise or Alex is some new features that we're adding to CiviPlus is this My Memberships tab. So this will enable members to log into the portal, see which membership type that they hold, what their previous membership was. They can see their renewal date and when it automatically renews. If they want to switch to direct debit, like I mentioned earlier, we've got Go Cardless built in now, so they can actually switch from a one-off payment to direct debit if they wish to as well, which is really handy. And what the screen would look like if their membership had run out or expired is it would change automatically just to prompt them to rejoin your organization as well. And then we can do a lot of automated communications from here as well. Cool. And I will hand back to Louise now.
Thanks, Jack. So yeah, really exciting. Lots of exciting new things are coming to the portal. So as Jack's already just showed you, the My Memberships area, but we're also going to have a My Organizations area. So again, if you are an organization that has organizations as members, there will be able to be a lead member from that organization who will have the ability in the portal to manage all the memberships of all the staff or you know, people connected to their organization that are getting a membership through them. So it's a really exciting, powerful new area that is coming. And there is also a new CPD tracking area. So some of our membership associations are also offering and tracking professional development in order to have the qualifications or the things that they need to either do their profession or be a member. So really, really powerful new area coming in that. And a resources area is also being built now, so that you can have lots of resources all in one space that's member only. And again, will be able to be personalized about what content you want different types of members to see. So you might actually have people who are not quite members yet, or they were members. They can still have a login to the portal, but obviously what they can see will be restricted, and they won't see all the information. So that can be a really good thing to have, so they can have all the information that will basically entice them to re-sign up to becoming a member, or entice them to join up in the very first place. So lots of things, and we look forward to sharing them and showing them with you at a later date. I think we've got the last section now is reporting. Over to Alex.
Yep. And if you want to see more on the portal, because we're really excited, we do have a webinar that we ran last month on our YouTube channel, which was worth checking out because a lot more there. Or you can talk to us, of course, and we can tell you more about it. But on to reporting. I am a data nerd, as you might expect from marketers. So I love having a lot of data at my fingertips. CiviPlus has amazing reporting tools. You can track things so easily. You can even have reporting on the mailing templates we've talked about, earlier. You can put it on dashboards so you can make it easier to find. You can search basically in any custom field that you put on within the system. You can kind of run reports in it and build all your custom reports. We have a lot to start off with to kind of give you a place to start, but you can do so much with the reporting within Civi. And honestly, it's just where your imagination can go with that one. So I probably won't dwell too much on that, or I'll kind of get into really data nerdy stuff. Next slide deck.
Cool.
But yeah, just briefly kind of what we've been over, as we've said, it's kind of some of the ways that you really can unlock your digital potential with a tool like CiviPlus is, like, as we've said, single source of truth, super important. Having that master copy of your data, doing the power of automation to do so many different things. The way that you can personalize, and I think that's something we've mentioned again and again, everything for your members. You can really empower your members and connect them with things like the membership directory and things like the portal, great areas. You can track your finances easier, which is always a good thing if your membership is configured correctly, and your members can pay a lot easier, which is good for them too. All of which makes renewals so much more, painless, which is what we all want, really, making sure those renewals keep on coming through, and it's not painful for you, not painful for the members. Fantastic. So really, if you have a good digital set, it can just make things so much better for your membership organization.
Thanks, Alex. And I think it's one thing to note is that when we talk about unlocking your digital potential, we're talking about digital potential for your staff in terms of the way that you're managing your internal processes, and the digital potential for your members and your audience to give them an amazing experience, whether it be, easy membership renewals, but also that personalized content feel and that tailored experience. So there's lots of different ways to approach unlocking digital potential. And I'm sure many people out there are already doing lots of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And there are even more, but we've really run out of time to go into today. But we'd love to talk a little bit more to anyone who is interested to continue the conversation. Oh, whoa, you've jumped very much ahead. So just to talk about CiviPlus, just to give you a little bit of an insight, if you've not heard of CiviPlus before, go to our website. We have our pricing there, but just to give you an indication, we have two pricing structures: contact-based pricing, which is really by your number of contacts, with an attached number of users as well. And to give you an example, our starting tier is £50 a month, which gives you up to 1,000 contacts and up to 5 users. And then we also have a pure user-based pricing tier. So this is really good for small organizations with a small number of staff, but really big contact lists. And that can happen when you are a membership organization where organizations are your members. You might only have 50 or 100 members, but each of those are a business, and they might have 100 employees each being part of your organization. So really interesting to look at those kinds of structures. And that starts at £65 a month per user per month. So we'd really, on to the next slide now, we'd love to talk to you more about CiviPlus. And of course, CiviPlus includes our amazing member portal, which can also be used for volunteer portals. There's the committee area. It doesn't have to be just the membership. So the best thing to do is for us to have a personalized demo. So please get in touch, and we will also send out a recording. Just to let you know, our next webinar will be really focusing on the applications and review process, which we've talked a little bit about today, but we're really going to dig into that and show you how that whole process can be made really easy for both you and the applicant. So please join us or send it to any other relevant members of staff or sister organizations, Tuesday the 14th of July at 2 o'clock
Cool.
time. So that's it. We've come to the end, and so I think we ran a couple of minutes over, so apologies. Thank you to everyone for joining us. And we're happy to hang around for a bit longer if there are any questions or comments. So yeah, we'll leave that open now in case anyone would like to say anything. And if not, we will stop the recording and say thank you very much to everyone for joining, and wish everyone a really lovely Friday afternoon and weekend. So let's stop the recording and say cheerio.
Goodbye.